welcome back, Dr. Mehrotra, to My Whole Child. As you know, this is a show that we do every 2 weeks, and it's a show between Dr. Naveen Mehrotra, a very prominent pediatrician in the New Jersey area, and me, Anika Sharma, a mother of two. And it's a show where we talk about integrative pediatrics, which in simple lay terms, which is the language that I understand because I am not a doctor, is basically a commitment to make sure that we have a holistic conversation around solutions for our children's health. And that's the show that we've been doing since almost last year. You can catch our previous conversations on mywholechild.org or on our Facebook page, which is My Whole Child. So Dr. Naveen, welcome back to the studios. Good to have you back here.
Thank you very much, Anika. It's great to come here and meet you every other week and talk about different topics, I think, that sort of concern the general listening community.
So 2 weeks ago we spoke about picky eaters, and I think one of the things we learned over the last 2 weeks was you've got a lot of responses from parents who said that they weren't only looking at picky eaters who were kids, but I guess some of their husbands too. So we did get a lot of responses, and I think in the same thread we want to continue the conversation today to discuss you could have picky eating at home, and then of course the home is also an environment which allows you to kind of control what your kids are eating, because you can cook it and you can serve it and there could be various options. But I think when we were talking, you brought up the idea of what happens when we...
Well, actually what ends up happening, and I feel really sad to say this, that some parents go to an extreme when their kid is such a picky eater that they actually may have to go out to feed the kid. So they may actually have to go to a restaurant, pack a food from the restaurant, and bring that food back in so that the child can eat.
That's a great insight. I mean, I'm just imagining as a mother it would be pretty disheartening, right? To say my child prefers outside food to my food. I mean,
it is, and I think our community gets so fixated, so focused on food, that if the child is not eating, they'll go to any extreme to make sure their child eats.
Yeah.
And I think, we've talked a lot about this last time, but this time we're going to change our focus a little bit more, and if you do end up having to go out, then what happens at that point?
Right. So, and I remember last time you said people would, play video games, people would have every kind of electronic device that is out there, basically do anything to distract the child. And I remember there were some parents who called in and said, make it about food. And I'm wondering whether there's the same principle that you hold on to when you go out as well. So we did post this question on our Facebook page, as to what do people do when their kids go out? Do they really control what they're eating? And how do you make those healthy options? And, more importantly, is eating out about healthy options, or is eating out like the cheat day? The day that you eat your French fries and the days that you really go all out. So is there something called a cheat day? I mean, do you have a philosophy to it?
So I think one of the things that we look at every well visit that a child comes into is what is their weight, what is their height, what is their growth pattern, what is their body mass index. And based on the height and weight and the body mass index, we'll tell you if your child needs to watch their diet or they don't need to watch their diet. So that then has to become an integral part of everything that the child does and the family does. So it should be permeating in their daily routine at home as well as eating out.
So
really
habit.
Focusing, yes. So really changing your lifestyle to make sure that you're learning how to eat properly and when to eat, and just modifying wherever you can.
So, I mean, which again, like I said, it works when you're at home, but when you're going to, and eating out doesn't have to be about a restaurant, right? In our community, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays are about coming together. And coming together is about parties. And I think one of the other things, and I know this because I am, you can hold me culprit to this as well, is the fact that we do not know how to party without our kids. It's almost like our kids are a part of our everyday life. So our get-togethers are around kids and food, and when we go out, we're around kids and food. We don't trust our babysitters to have, keep our kids, and that's all food, right? So that's also eating out.
It's a family-centered approach.
Right.
So
okay, you said that much better.
It is actually, I just came from a talk that I gave at the South Brunswick Health Department about us as a community in whole.
Right.
And we were all talking about the family dynamics and the family structure
Right.
and how it may impact our daily life.
Yeah.
So, that infiltrates every single aspect of our daily routine. So when we go out or we go out to parties and we're going out for restaurants, we're all going out as a family most of the time.
Right.
And the weekends are about going out.
Right.
And Monday
And it could be to someone's house, and that's also going out, right? I mean, it's eating out.
Sure. It depends on when you're
where
going
the
to
food
somebody's
came from.
house,
Yeah.
right? Where the food came
Where
from.
the food came from.
And the food
Good
can come
point.
from lots of different restaurants.
Correct.
But are we really paying attention to how we need to eat, what we need to eat, and
Right.
when we need to eat?
Of course we are not, because when you go out, you're so busy, I don't know, catching up with your friends, and the kids are catching up. I mean, between you and me as a parent, half the times I think other people are feeding my kids. I mean, I'm not even feeding my kids, or hopefully they're feeding themselves.
But these are things that we have to be cautious about, that we
Right.
have to be aware of.
Yeah,
So it is, what are you actually ordering when you go out?
yeah,
How much are you ordering? And
Right.
is it that just because it's, cheaper,
Yeah.
then you should order that, or
Yeah.
if it's not,
Yeah.
then you don't order it, or if it's
Yeah.
healthy, it doesn't
Yeah.
taste good. So there are a lot of these concepts that we need to overcome
yeah.
and make sure that we are doing the right thing.
Right, right. And it's also the fact, I mean, I think we also have to be cognizant of, I think you brought up size, which was great, because, this is a country where the difference between size and super size is 40 cents, and you're thinking, well, if I can get double the size for $5.69 instead of $5.49, why wouldn't I eat it? Then it's our Indian guild that says, oh, we can't waste it.
Well,
So
it's
eat
what we
it.
call, right, value for the money.
Yeah.
So why not? Oh, well, कहीं ना कहीं तो काम आ ही जाएगा, right?
Correct.
Put it in पेट में डाल दो, कहीं ना कहीं काम आ जाएगा.
कहाँ
कभी-
काम आ जाएगा?
So
पेट में काम
always our parents would say, right,
Yeah.
खा लो, खाली पेट घर से बाहर मत जाओ.
Uh-huh.
But that's just the whole mentality that just because you're getting a little bit more
Yeah.
for 40 cents,
Yeah.
that you go ahead and eat that. But
Yeah.
that is not the case.
Right.
So when somebody is in that situation where they're not eating properly,
Right.
we have to handhold them, and that's one of the things that I do in practice.
Right.
Is I may have them come in every week or every 2 weeks so that we can counsel them on how they need to eat properly and what they need to be aware of. So is it calorie counts?
Yeah.
Is it portion size?
Yeah.
Is it the types of food?
Yeah.
Or what is it that they really need to be looking
So,
at?
I mean, but is that, do you think, one of the factors that's contributing to obesity, especially in our community?
Sure, and when we look at what we call BMI standards, which is
Right.
the body mass
Index,
index. The standards are out there that say 25 and above makes you overweight, 30
So
and above
for
makes you
people like me who may not know what BMI is, could you
right.
just,
So
yeah.
BMI is the body mass index, meaning where you take the height of a person and you take the weight of a person, and you put it into a special formula, and
Yeah.
it comes out with a body mass index.
Right,
Body mass index is your sort of categorization
yeah.
of where you fall. Are you in normal weight? Are you underweight?
Yeah.
Or are you overweight
So it's
or
basically the
obese?
fat to muscle ratio or something? Is the body,
Well, it's an overall sort of a
Okay.
hallmark number that we come up with.
okay.
So by definition, by US standards, 25 and above puts you in overweight range, 30 and above puts you into an obese range. But if you actually look at our community, a lot of our community
It's
doesn't
30 and
fall, no, actually does not fall into a very high BMI.
Really?
So
That's insightful.
what happens in our community is that we have something called central abdominal obesity. So we tend to accumulate around the stomach.
That is like a human population principle. That's not a South Asian population
No,
principle.
that is the South.
Have you seen
Yes.
people around? Everybody
Yes,
has
no,
things
but-
around there,
But
like
we are
around
much,
their
but
mid.
we are much more prone to it.
Really? I thought
we
that
are-
was all beer belly. You can't expect kids to have that.
How you're gonna have beer bellies in kids? Come
No,
on.
you're not. So exactly. So that's what I'm saying.
No, it is a genetic predisposition in our community.
Really? Among
Yes.
South Asians?
Yes.
I
Okay.
see. Okay.
So we have a tendency to accumulate fat around the stomach. So we may not actually fall under BMI, by BMI standards to be overweight.
Yeah.
But that is
We
the
might
problem.
still look fat.
No, we may think we're not fat.
Okay.
So you
Okay.
have that concept coming in by definition, saying
Right.
that, oh, well, I'm not fat.
Right.
Secondly, you have, the cultural standards saying that, oh
It's
my
okay.
God, it's okay.
Huh.
Healthy hona chahiye, healthy
Huh.
hona chahiye. And that healthy
खट्टा
hona-
खट्टा बच्चा लग रहा है.
Right. So, healthy hona chahiye, बच्चे के गाल नहीं लटक रहे हैं. Every time a mom comes in, she's like, अरे डॉक्टर साहब, उसका तो weight ही नहीं बढ़ रहा है, उसका तो weight ही नहीं बढ़ रहा है.
Really?
That's the main thing that they really focus on.
Okay.
So you have to
But
understand.
it's true, right? If you tell me that my child is obese, and then on the other hand I tell you, but the weight hasn't increased, I will not believe anything you say, right? I might actually think that my child is underweight instead of overweight.
Sure, but the thing is, it's not just about being obese or being, the right weight or underweight.
Right.
It is about the
Being
proper
healthy.
healthy lifestyle.
It's about being healthy.
So incorporating that healthier lifestyle in everything that you do. So if you are going out, it doesn't mean that just if you're going to have pizza, then take the thick Pizza Hut pizza.
Correct.
Because you
It's
get
better
more
value for
value,
money.
more value for
Yeah.
money.
Yeah.
But really, you should go for the thin and crispy, so that you're
Right.
cutting down on the calories, you're cutting down on the carbs, you're cutting down.
But
on
I don't see any document saying all that. I've been a mother for close to 10 years.
Well,
I haven't
that-
come
that
across
is
any
where-
document that says eat the thin crust versus thick. I'm being really.
But that is where the physician should be counseling you and should be guiding you.
Well, I'm definitely not talking pizza with my pediatrician, let me tell you.
Well, you
So-
should be, because when a child comes in for their well visit,
Yeah.
it is something that we go through. What is your child eating? How are they eating?
Right.
How many meals are they eating?
Right.
What are they eating?
Right. And I've noticed you actually ask the kids as well.
Sure, because
Yeah.
I always want to make sure I get the answers from the kids. And if they say, usually what ends up happening is the mom will say, oh, wo to veggies khata hi nahi hai. And then the kid says, no, I eat veggies. So I'll ask them, what have you
Right.
eaten? What do you
Right.
like to eat?
Or what do you qualify as a veggie?
Well, nowadays
that
what
French fry is not a veggie.
well, that's actually what they come back teaching us. When the kids are learning in school,
Yeah.
they come back and say, oh, but my teacher said, tomato ketchup is a veggie.
No way.
Or French fries are
No
veggies.
way.
So,
No. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. Because in my kids, the school that they're going to, you won't believe it. The times when I want to be a lazy mother and I want to give them cookies for a treat, they have come back and stopped me. And I know, the Day Foundation has done a program in our school. But the point is, they have come back and stopped me and said, that is not healthy. You have to give me a healthy snack. The teacher has said you need a healthy snack. So it looks like there is a movement in the schools. But I don't know whether you have seen it as a pediatrician, but it looks like there's definitely a movement towards a push from everywhere which says, think healthy.
no, of course, that push is there, and that is one of the main things that Michelle Obama
Yeah.
stands behind.
Yeah,
Is having a healthier lifestyle,
Yes.
being more active,
Yeah.
and eating right.
yeah,
So that is what I think, as a pediatrician, I
Yeah.
make sure that the parents understand that.
right,
So the child really needs to understand the value of food
yeah,
and how they need to eat it. So even if they're going out, they need to make sure that you're eating the right things
okay.
and not just the value for money. Let's actually just take a call that's coming in. Hello? You're on the air? Hello?
Hello? Do you take this one? Hello?
Oh, I think I probably just disconnected whoever that was, so if you can call back in. Sorry, I'm still learning the equipment here, so bear with me. But the main thing is, when you are going out, you should really look at the menu carefully. And what I see in every single kid's menu that's there on most of the restaurants is that they'll have maybe cheese quesadillas or pizza or something like that. But there's a lot more that the child can actually get. Oh wait, hold on.
Oops!
We disconnected them again. Sorry. Try again. I think I.
My bad. Okay, maybe you have to press this? I don't
Yes.
know.
So
Okay.
the thing
But
is.
so once in a while it's okay, right? I mean, once in
So
so
what-
I think, like you said, if it's about eating healthy, then maybe there should also be an association with the child that says if you go out here, then that's a treat, right?
Okay. So third time. Let's see if this is a charm.
Child.
Hello. You're on the air.
Yes, hi, Dr. Merata. This is Chitrali.
Oh, hi, Chitrali. How are you?
I'm
Th-
good, thank you.
So thanks for
Hi.
calling in. Tell us what's. Do you go out with your kids? Do you have kids? First of all, how many kids do you have? And do you go out with your kids? And what are your issues when you go out?
Oh, I have kids, but they are not kids anymore. But yes, we did go out a lot. You mean issues? What kind of issues are you talking
So
about?
how do you select what's on the menu? Do you even look at what it is?
Yeah. How do you make sure that your kids are eating healthy when they're in an outside environment? I mean, what is your point of view on that?
We pick our battles, but we generally tend to give them some good examples. We choose to eat not. We try and choose the best options we have, but I also have Rachita here with me, so she's also listening, another friend of mine. So what we usually did, my kids are grown up now, we looked at, we gave them a few options. We helped them, we guided them, we helped them choose, but generally something good, we gave them a few options. We always had we pointed them towards the good things, but we picked our battles. Maybe we chose, like if we go for Indian food, we chose naan, but then they had the option of choosing, some vegetables and things like that. So we tended not to go to fast food so much.
Right. So I think that's a great thing. I think there's a couple of really nice points that you brought out. One is modeling the behavior.
Yeah.
So kids learn from what their parents are doing.
Yeah.
Believe it or not. So so if the parent.
I think it's also really good to expose them to a lot of different cuisines and choices, and just give them broad exposure.
So Rachita, how many kids do you have? And if you could just come close, I think.
I have 3, and they're between the range of 7 and 12. And I mean, you definitely see, with that age group, that their tastes and their likes and dislikes are constantly changing. Sometimes my 7-year-old is more adventurous than the 12-year-old, and sometimes my 12-year-old no longer wants to order off the kids menu.
Yeah.
Order off the adults menu and pick something exotic and try something foodie. And I think a lot of that, again, goes back to, Dr. Mehrotra's point of being just modeling behavior. But the more exposure they have and the more, the different types of restaurants that you take them to, the different types of cuisines, and if you also show them that, the parents are ordering things, but how parents are making their decisions. I mean, a lot of times I will say, well, this is low carb, or this is healthy because, I'm very big into juicing, so I will try to expose them to a lot of juices. And sometimes they'll try it, and sometimes they won't, but my rule of thumb is always, you have to try a little bit.
Yes, the other thing is, I think, like, you may give them pizza because they like pizza, but then you help them choose the toppings,
Right. So,
I mean, it's something that they're comfortable. It's like a comfort food.
right. So that these are some great points. I think that making sure that you keep on offering a variety of foods.
Yeah.
And not letting them
use a variety of foods.
Right.
Yeah.
That's where you can try to avoid becoming very picky.
Yeah.
And definitely helping them and saying, well, you can have something bad, but on the same time you have to balance it with something good.
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
I thought the other great point that Chitrali and Rachita have made, and as a mother, I don't do it enough, is offering your kids choices. So even if it's like between 3 healthy choices, I think the child feels empowered that they are actually making a choice and they're part of that decision, which can be empowering at times, right? So
right. So what I always tell kids and the moms and dads, whoever's there, is that if you are having a hard time, picking out vegetables for your kid, or your kid is not liking it, go shopping with them.
Yeah.
Let the child pick out, right? Pick out the vegetable or fruit, and let them go ahead and take a variety from day to day and say, what would you like to eat? What would you want me to buy?
Right.
And do that.
Right.
Now, I wish that would be sort of a opportunity at the restaurant level, but sometimes it's not.
Yeah.
So you really have to be a lot more cognizant of that, and you have to look at it carefully.
I wanted to share something with the mothers on the phone, So when we put this question up on Facebook, a lot of the responses that we got back was, well, we don't control healthy eating with the kids when they're outside because it's their treat, it's their cheat day. Eating out is all about having a good time. It's not about counting calories. And I'm wondering, as mothers, what you thought, because that was a consistent response that we got. Do you have a point of view on it?
Yeah, we discussed this. I saw those responses, and I was talking to Rachita about this, and I disagree. And one thing is that because when we go out, we know we are splurging, but we actually choose what we make healthy decisions even then. I mean, we balance it out. As I said, if I have a naan, then if I'm eating Indian, if I have a naan, then I would rather have something not red meat, or have dal or vegetables with it, or a salad. I mean, and I think that's what's modeling. I mean, that's what your children like to do, just to see what your parents are doing. And right from a very young age, we've always taken our kids out with us for dinner.
Right.
And this is how we order. And
Right.
I think we also we allow them to order, but we also don't allow them always to order from the kids' menu. We tell them they can eat what
Right.
they're eating.
Right, so I mean, it's sort of unfortunate whenever we look at the kids' menu,
Yeah.
there is only about 3
Yeah,
choices on there,
yeah.
which are
And
all
all-
heavy,
Yeah.
fatty foods.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that's great.
Yeah,
And I think also to the point of the cheat day, which we brought up, is yes,
Yeah.
once a week maybe you can have a cheat day and
But
you
if
can
it's once a week.
once a week, but if you're going to be going out 3 times in a
Yeah,
week,
yeah,
which
yeah.
a lot of the people end up doing nowadays,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it gets to be tough.
And it's also dependent on the concept that, or it's assuming that you are eating healthy and only healthy at home. And for many full-time working parents, I think it's very difficult to try and put those healthy meals on the table and make sure that you have time to do other things.
Well,
So-
that's where I think the fast food industry has really skyrocketed in the last 15, 20 years. It's
Right.
because both of the parents are working, they're working long hours, they don't have time to cook,
Yeah.
and they're running and just picking up something that comes, the first thing that they get.
Right.
And they're not really focusing on what they should be eating, how they should be eating that.
Right.
So I think that is something we need to make sure that
Yeah.
we are paying attention to. And I think Rachita and both of you
Right,
guys have brought up
yeah.
really brought up some very good
Yeah.
points on how we should do this.
Do you have any tips for people who are full-time working parents and how they can make sure that they can have a cheat day by trying to make healthy options at home?
It's absolutely different to Rachita, but if you were asking me, what I did was I would bring the burger, but I would also you get these little carrots, you get little apple bits. I mean, there are choices. It's not a question of just, giving them French fries with the burgers, or, you can have many options at home too. Those are all ready-made little things that you can buy from supermarkets.
Right.
Right. But I think that
Another good one, like for working parents to keep it healthy and it's still takeout, is like, for example, sushi. Because, you get some good...
Rachita, can you be a little louder?
Yeah, I said another good one for working parents, if you have to order takeout, is, some of the
Is
Asian foods,
sushi, I
you
think,
can
right?
get stir-fried vegetables or sushi, where you get some healthy fish. So, it's just more balanced and less fat.
right.
I mean, you're not allowing them to be exposed to lots of food, which
Yeah.
we as parents, a lot of parents don't do.
Right, and yeah, so I think all
Thank
of
you
these.
so much for
Thanks.
calling in. Thank you so
Thanks.
much.
So I think thanks a lot for bringing out those valuable
Yeah,
points. So I
yeah.
think since we are running short of time here, just to sort of recap, as they said, that even if you are having a cheat day,
Yeah.
you can try to balance it with something that's
Yeah.
much more healthy.
Yeah.
So you can have a salad that comes along with it. But once again,
Yeah.
I think it's a cultural concept where a community may not believe that,
Yeah.
why should I pay an extra few dollars for a salad
Yeah.
when I can get French fries with the meal?
Yeah, and
So-
Dr. Murtha, I think we keep bringing the topic back to saying, don't ever be scared of having a conversation with your doctor or your pediatrician, right? And no question is stupid unless someone says it's stupid, right? I mean, if you go and say, well, I don't know how to help my child make healthy choices, that's a question I think that you can ask your pediatrician.
Right.
Second thing is that I think from what we're looking at the show, it looks like you believe that food is about health. You don't just have to come to you when there's a problem. It could actually be
Right.
healing
So
as
it
well.
has to be a proactive approach.
Right.
It has to be a change in the lifestyle of
Right.
everyone in the family.
Right.
So it is not just about the child itself.
Yeah.
It's about the mom and the dad and everybody else.
Yes.
So
And I'm assuming that's your philosophy?
that is my philosophy. And
What
I
is-
think, so whenever the child comes in, I always talk to the whole family. So
Yeah.
it is not just talking, oh, your kid needs to do this, this, and this.
Yeah.
but really everybody, you cannot put a kid on a diet.
Yeah.
Okay, it is not fair to the child.
Yeah.
You can modify their eating patterns.
Yeah.
You can modify how they function on a daily level, on a daily basis.
And understand how
And-
they came to that level where you thought you should put them on a diet.
Right.
Yeah.
So whenever I'm dealing with kids who are overweight or who
Yeah.
have feeding issues and they're coming in on a regular basis for this, it is about the family. And it is how did you do it? Are you modeling the right behavior
Yeah.
to make sure that the child follows through?
Yeah.
So that is how the child will learn, and that
Yeah.
is how everybody will be healthier.
Yeah. And that is the essence of My Whole Child. Be part of the conversation. Join our Facebook page. We are on My Whole Child or mywholechild.org. We have said this again and again. If you have an opinion,
Please,
if you don't
please
express
post it on
you
the
can't
Facebook
complain.
community, and if you have
Yes.
any questions that we didn't get to, you can email them to me.
Yes.
Dr.
Dr. Naveen Mehrotra also has his own website. He won't say it because he usually doesn't talk about himself. It's drmehrotra.com. That's MEHROTRA.com.
Right. And I am in practice here in Central Jersey, so if anybody
In
has
two
any
offices,
questions-
actually.
Yes, so that is
Piscataway
definitely,
and
and Edison, so that is there.
right in the heart of the South Asian community.
That's why I think this is so near and dear to my heart.
Yes.
To make sure that our community learns how to have a healthier lifestyle.
Yes.
So
So let's make a commitment to have wholesome children and commit to our health. Until next time.
thank you very much. So
Thank
we'll
you, Dr.
see you
Mehrotra.
in 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks.
Bye.